Hey guys, welcome back to Building SouthLake. So today, I'm not really sure all too much like what I want to work on, because I'm not really in the mood to work on some new buildings, but I'm also in the mood to build something. So it's like one of those weird moods that I'm in. I have no idea why. So since the last part, I want to show you a couple finished buildings. So in the last part, I'm gonna kind of do like a reveal. We worked on that one building for like that's right by the park, and basically I finished it, and it looks like this. So remember how I said we did make it a little bit less wide because it was going to be as wide as this entire area. That was going to be way too wide, and I think I kind of hit the nail on the head here when it comes to how it looks from the side, because it's still not too narrow, but it's still really wide, and I think that's kind of perfect because it fits with the building. And then with all the excess space, I kind of made this here to add some design and some different height to the map, because that is something I do need. And also, I did finish up some of these buildings here, because these were a couple unfinished buildings, so I wanted to get those done, and I did, besides the interior, obviously. But we do need to go over to the stadium and do our weekly shout out for SouthLake, so let's fly over there. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this either, but I do have some more roads extended all the way over by the stadium, which I'm not sure if I want to add skyscrapers over here or if I want to add like more smaller buildings, because I'm leaning more towards the smaller buildings, but I'm just not too sure yet. And let's come in here. Boop. Okay, so let's get rid of this sign. So our subscriber of the week, or our shout out, is Tyler Blue. So we're just going to put his name in here. Really simple name. And then capital B L-U-E. Oh, why'd I put a space there? Tyler Blue. Okay, well there we go. So now we have 3 people. So yeah, so Tyler Blue, welcome to SouthLake. So thank you very much for watching, bud. And thank you very much. Whee! So I think a lot of people are wondering, what can you do to maybe get that shout out of the week? Because I have seen quite a bit of comments saying, oh, I like this video, can I get the shout out? And basically, it's not just through one video, guys. I basically look at my analytics, and I look at some of my fans who have been watching the most videos and commenting on a lot of those videos. And that's really the key part of this, is really just, watching the videos, and not just watching one and commenting on one video, but watching several and commenting on all those videos that you watch. It doesn't have to be a long comment either. It could just be, oh, hey, I like this video, and just things like that. And so it's not random. I mean, it is random to an extent, but it's not just I'm looking through comments or anything like that. I actually have analytics, which, if you don't know what those are, it basically, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It basically tells me exactly what and like how much people are watching, things like that. So it's kind of, that's kind of the best way to describe it, I think. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. So what are some things that we could talk about this week? We might work in the bank here. So we need, what color is that? Because is it light? Hey, sweet. So, a couple of new things I guess I could talk about. Oh no, my battery's almost dead. So a couple of new things we could talk about is, I uploaded a weekly schedule a couple days ago on my channel, and basically I want to talk about that a little bit. And the reason for it is because basically the new weekly schedule kind of highlights everything that you're going to see during the week. And I think a lot of the times before, I didn't really upload too much, like in the past, but I've been uploading a lot more recently, and I think that's what people want. And because I make these videos for you guys, and so these need to be 2, not 3. I need to get used to that. And so basically, I'm not going to go over the entire schedule, because that's what that video is for, because it kind of goes in depth into all of those, into how the series will work, some of the new series that are popping up. And one of the series I did not mention in it was that I'm going to be trying to bring back a series called Build Time. So for those of you that don't know, Build Time is one of my series to where I kind of just, it's mainly with YouTubers. I mainly just take some of my friends that I've known for a long time, YouTubers. I'm going to try to get in touch with some more YouTubers about, just hanging out with them for a couple hours. And basically, I have one lined up with Big B Stats, so we actually might record that sometime today. I'm not sure when it would come out, but basically what it is the series is just us hanging out, talking, and you guys kind of get to, just hear things about ourselves. We just have a good time talking, and especially with Big B Stats. And one of the things I hate is like, because I have Biggs from Chaos Craft, and I talk to him a lot. Well, I don't want to say a lot, but he's a really good guy. But then you also have Big B Stats, and I both call him Biggs because it's just a lot easier to call him that. We need quartz. And so it kind of sucks when I'm around 1 and I go, oh hey Biggs. I kind of get confused for a second. It's like, wait, this isn't the right Biggs. So what, this needs to be 3? Yeah, looks like it. And wait, okay, so it is even. Wee, back over here. Boop boop. So 1, 2, 3, and then let's go up. And I think we're good there. Yeah, I mean, so like I said, I'm trying to get in more contact with other YouTubers about just hanging out with them for a little bit. And because it's not anything difficult, I mean, it's basically just like I kind of described it. It's just us hanging out for a little bit, talking about random subjects, things like that. And I think people will kind of enjoy it because I think people enjoy like the laid back episodes because they are just very simple. They are very, I'm trying to think of like some good words to kind of describe it. Because it's called Build Time because originally I wanted the series to be, you come hang out for a little bit and we just build something random, which is probably what it's still going to be, and that's why it's called Build Time. Mainly just because, it's not going to be a tutorial, it's just us hanging out and just building something random, whether it's a skyscraper, a park, it could just be anything that we just want to build. And they're not going to be the greatest builds because, we're just trying to hang out and talk and just hang out and have fun. But you are going to at least get something out of it. It's more, I guess you could kind of describe it as a podcast a little bit, or an interview, kind of. I would say it's more towards a podcast than an interview by far. How come this doesn't seem right? It is, but it doesn't seem right. And the reason I say it's more like a podcast is because it's just 2 guys hanging out and talking about just random things. We don't have a set topic to talk about. We're not saying, oh yeah, so what do you think about this that happened on May 14th of 2016? And it's not that. It's just more, like I said, I kind of beat it a little bit here, but it's just us hanging out. And a couple of the YouTubers I want to get in touch with about it is I want to get Big B Stats, like we already talked about. That's already kind of lined up. I do want to get Biggs and Zai Let's Play eventually in there, just to talk to them and hang out with them for a little bit. Because even though I've been on their server, I haven't really played with them all too much, like just them and people, like in person. Oh, I grabbed the wrong color for that. Well, actually, I guess it's not the wrong color, but where's the right color? Here it is. And I'm just putting these here so I know where to stop the thing here. And all right, we need to keep going up. And so I want to get Zai Let's Play on, Biggs 87. Maybe I deactivate because he was one of my favorite members to play with on Chaos Craft, mainly just because I picked on him a lot. It was just really fun. And it wasn't like a pick on him being in a mean way. It was more just a pick on him in a fun way. And so don't get that confused. Okay, so this one's supposed to be behind it, so we're good there. Whew, I actually got really, really worried there for a second. And so another person that I think a lot of people might be interested in, and I actually have already emailed him about it, is Dan Lags. Because I want to get him mainly on there because a lot of people kind of compare us sometimes. And, I like that people compare us because he's a fantastic builder. And people always ask, like, have I ever heard of him? Of course I have. He's a great YouTuber. He's actually going to be passing me up in subscribers here pretty soon, so congratulations to him. I'm not going to be like, oh man, I'm way better than him, blah blah blah. No, that's definitely not true. I've seen some of his videos, which is another question. And people go, like, have you ever seen Dan Lag's videos, blah blah blah. And yes, I have. And we've talked before, not for very long, but we have talked in the past. And I know he's watched some of my videos, and I've watched some of his. It's just one of those things, because like I said earlier, I don't have anything against the guy. He's a great YouTuber. And just because people think we just compete, I guess might be the best way to put that, because we both build houses for Xbox. We're not really competing at all. It's mainly just, we just do our own thing. Some people think I copy him when I do something. And this is really weird sometimes because it is kind of like a coincidence, and I understand why people think it, but like, there's sometimes I upload a video and people go, oh, you took this from Dan Lags, blah, 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 because he did it a couple weeks ago. It's like, I had no idea he did it. I just got the idea, and I went with it. And it's just one of those weird coincidences that just happened to work out that way. Again, I have nothing, I want to make that clear. I have nothing against the guy. He's a great YouTuber. I'm proud of him for what he's done. And I'm excited for him. He's passed me up in subscribers here pretty soon. He's been growing a little bit faster than me, which I don't have a problem with. There's no animosity. You know, I'm not going to be all jealous about it or anything like that. So this needs to stop right there. Jax, can you stop making... Jax! Hold on, guys. My cat is being a real pain in the ass today, and I have no idea why. Like, even more of a pain in the ass than usual. Alright, so I need to keep an eye on this one. So, doop, doop, doop. And so, I want to get Dan Lags on build time, mainly because I think it would just be kind of interesting, because a lot of people have asked for videos with both of us in the past. And so, I think it would just be one of those really cool things that I think fans would really enjoy and like. And again, we wouldn't be competing over anything, it would just be hanging out, and that's what it would mainly be for. And so it needs to be one above. Boom, perfect. I'm actually kind of happy to start working on this bank again. It's been a long, long time. So what? We need 3. So 2, 1, 2, 3 in the middle, 3 gap in both. Okay, I think I got it. So we need boop, 2 and 3, and then 1 more there. So we should have 3. Yep, perfect. And let's stack these pillars up as well. This bank has actually been sitting here for quite a long time, and same thing like with some of those other buildings. The reason I wanted to go finish them was because they've been sitting there for a long time, and especially with the park area kind of expanding, and it's one of my favorite areas in the map because of just there's more color to it, there's more design, I think, and it's different than just from the regular city, and so I'm really happy to finally get that done. Alright, so this needs to come across now. It's so hard trying to remember how to do things exactly when you did them so long ago. So boop, 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 boop. Oh, okay, I went too far. So then we need 3 pillars on this side. 1, 2, 3. And stack up. So, we talked about build time a little bit because I didn't mention that in my weekly series. Or my new schedule. And another thing that I think people are really confused about is mainly just because it's the internet and people are like this in general. Not everybody, just a lot of people. And that's the fact that I said nothing about tutorials in my weekly schedule. And I probably should have mentioned something about it because there is a plan for it. I just did not mention it. So I understand why people were asking about it. But at the same time, people were asking like, oh, there's no house tutorials in your weekly schedule, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, I just finished week number 1 of houses. I can't, or not week number 1. I just finished season number 1 of houses, which was 10 houses. So you have plenty of houses there. I can't, in a matter of 2 weeks from ending the series, I can't come up with another 10 houses. I mean, I want to take a break for myself to come up with new ideas and get more inspiration. Rather than just, oh, my words are just horrible. Rather than just rushing the houses out to get them out to you guys like I used to. Because then I lost interest in building them. And that's something I don't want to do again. I like building houses because it's fun to do. But at the same time, I don't want to feel burdened to do it. And it's something I enjoy doing, so it's usually when you enjoy something, you don't want to do it all the time because then you're going to get bored of it. And that's how I felt before when I was having houses like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Mainly because, you know, you're kind of forced to rush a design out there. And that's why you guys didn't get, you know, some of these better designs like I'm used to now. At least in my opinion, they're better. And so it's just one of those things that you will have to wait for it. They will come out eventually. Maybe in a couple months I will have season number 2 coming out. But at the same time, people were asking for, you know, just like plain tutorials. What's going to be happening with those? And that's something I understand because, again, I am more known for being a tutorial person, which I understand. That's what I started off doing. And basically the way I answered it in some of these comments and replied back to people was the fact that tutorials will still be there, but they just don't have a set date. And what I mean by that, is the fact that I can upload a video of a car, a train, etc., anything like that, any given day. So there is no set day for when those are going to come out. And the whole point of that is then there's also no set date to when they have to come out. So I don't have to say, oh man, I have to make this on a Tuesday. And again, kind of going back to the rushing it thing. So I wanted to kind of change things up a little bit, and tutorials are going to be just on whenever I want them to come out, not on a given day. So they're still going to be there. You're still going to get tutorials, just not every single day of the week. And my words are just so bad sometimes. And oh, what the heck happened? Oh, my controller died. Okay. Was not expecting that. Sorry, guys. Let me get some batteries here. I didn't charge my controller last night, it looks like. Luckily, I still have these. Are we good? Hey, we're good. And boop, and we're set. Okay, I was like, why is my controller moving by itself? And we're off again. And so, one of the tutorials I want to do soon is actually a baseball field, because a lot of people have enjoyed the stadium I made on SouthLake so far. And so, excuse me, I had the soda, so I have like the soda burps. And I want to make a tutorial for a baseball field, not the stadium, but the field, because the problem with that, if I did the entire stadium, because one, a baseball stadium is very tricky when it comes to building, because one, that took me almost 4 days to make, you know, just off and on, and like not just straight building 4 days in a row, but just imagine how long that would take in a tutorial. It would take maybe even 8 days, because you have to describe every single last thing that you're doing, because the difference between a baseball stadium and say a football stadium, like both football, like American football and English football, and the difference is those stadiums are usually pretty symmetrical. And when it comes to, you know, there's basically just 4 flat sides that just work around and that you can build around. But with a baseball field, you have so many different corners, you have so many things you kind of have to account for. And so that's one of the problems, is that it's so hard to fully make a baseball stadium consistently, because there's new turns in every single place you go. And so it's a lot harder for a tutorial sake, especially for that reason. So I do want to build the field for you guys to show you how I got that, how I did everything, the dimensions of it, because then you can kind of make your stadium around that, because everybody has their own design for how they do stands, things like that. And so we'll fly over there and I can show you kind of what I want to do for a tutorial. So we're flying all the way, and there it is, one of my favorite builds on the server by far. So what I'm thinking about building for you guys is the actual field, obviously. So basically all this and the walls here, like going around. I wouldn't be showing you how to make the stands and blah blah blah, like all of that, because that would take a very long time. But I'm showing you the main design, the dimensions of the field, so you can kind of build around that. And then I might show you how I start the stand, and then you can kind of build off of it from there. Because the stands are actually pretty easy to make. They are just very time consuming and monotonous, because you're just doing the same thing over and over again, just going up a layer. So again, this is why a baseball stadium is so hard to build, because let's look at how many different turns I have involved in just going around the field alone. I mean, you have, let's see, those, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically just, you have that many turns already. Basically everywhere you see a offset is where you would have to turn it. So there's just so much that goes into it. It's so my words, I can't figure out what's going on with me today. So it's just very time consuming. That's what I'm trying to get at here. So I would show you guys how to do the basics and things like that, and then you can kind of go off with it wherever you want to go with it. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really want to do for this part, because we worked in the bank a little bit. We talked about some of the new series, the weekly schedule, things like that. I mean, so I need to figure out a new place for a train station though, because I went up here, and it's kind of a perfect spot for it. So I might make a station here, like right there, like that's where you'd go down into the subway station. And then I also want to have one, if we fly all the way over there, we'll get there. It seems really far away. Almost there, just patience. And I also want to make a entrance right back here that goes down into a subway station. And I think this area would be really cool for one too, so that's another reason why I want to add it there. So, bye-bye guys, thank you very much for watching. If you do want to know what the weekly schedule is going to be from now on, you know, just go watch that video, because I think there's some stuff in there that you guys might be interested in when it comes to live streams, things like that. So, yeah, go check it out guys, let me know what you think of it. And also, stay tuned in next week for another shout out. So, bye-bye guys, and thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.